Oh, you see the progress, but it's one day at a time. I think the biggest thing, even if you look at the pro level, the individual defense, and that's a tough thing to do. So we try to spend a lot of time with one-on-one defense, contain the dribble, helping recover. But again, it's exhausting, and it takes a lot of time.
How have you seen this group come together over recent months and from the trip and then continuing it on?
Oh, it's been great. It's a great group of guys, quality young men. They enjoy being around each other. They enjoy competing. And I think that's the biggest thing. They're able to compete at a high level and not take it personal, and it carries over on and off the court. So it's fun to watch these guys work. I think your best teams are guys that are, when your older guys control the locker room, so to speak, and make sure the young guys and new guys understand what's at stake, the level you want to play at, the things that coaching staff expect. So, of course, you want your guys to bring those guys in slowly and have fun in doing it, not make anything personal, just because what happens, I've always been a guy, when you're talking about culture of a program, you look over time, 5, 10 years, you see teams that have success and they sustain it. It's because of the culture of the program. And I'm not one of those guys, and everybody has their own style, but I'm not one of those guys that, have slogans all over the locker room and sayings, because I think after a while those things fade. I think for us it's a day-to-day culture and a lifestyle. It's how we go about our day-to-day business. And then we stand the test of time. Then you see a brand of a program as opposed to me putting signs and billboards all over the locker room.
What do you feel is the biggest strength of the team right now? What's your biggest strength?
We have talented basketball players, but I think a lot of you can say 35 teams have that caliber of talent. I think the biggest key is being on the same page, going through adversity, dealing with tough times, and that part I don't know. But we have the parts to be successful. But I've seen many teams. You see on the surface they got the potential to be very successful, but then in the end it doesn't pan out for whatever reason. So for us, I think we have what it takes to be successful. But a lot of things that goes into being successful: how hard you play, how hard you compete, when you hit adversity. If I'm not getting shots, how do I manage to play within the game? I go from 20 minutes to 15 to 5 minutes. Do I still maintain my level of focus throughout a game? And I think those things are very important, and then you don't know that until you go through it.
What are these real talk sessions? A lot of the guys were kind of talking about them earlier. How did those come about, and what do you think of them?
Well, that was something I started when I became a coach. It's just, and it was a session we normally do on Sunday mornings, and then they followed up with study table. But it's just really about, life, not necessarily basketball. It could be various topics. It's probably 30, 40 different topics of, how to become a man, dealing with tough times, family crisis, you name it. And we have a book that kind of goes through everything, just a gauge, but it can be any topic, really. But more life skills, dealing with adversity. Rarely does it talk about anything that dealing with sports. Yes.
Does that have a carryover benefit to your team, though, in terms of what you guys are doing together on the floor?
Well, I guess, again, the programs I've been associated with, and everybody makes mistakes, so I'm not saying it's like we don't make mistakes, but those things are minimized in our program because we give those guys content ahead of time, say this might happen. So if you're going through life situations, so I think if you never talk about it, some guys have never been through it, and all of a sudden they make mistakes, then I think it's your job as a coach to address these situations, because eventually they become men. We can umbrella their mistakes in our program, but once they become men, they're exposed because they're their own boss, so to speak. Then they become the man of the house, so they're their own CEO, so now nobody can hover over you. So we try to protect them in as many ways as possible, because once they leave our program, hopefully we've equipped them with the necessary tools to be successful in life.
Did you start these all the way back in your day with
Missouri State, yes.
What was kind of what
Same thing, and again, and I don't know if it doesn't necessarily mean guys don't make mistakes and guys don't break laws, so I'm not saying that, but we've had a great track record up until now. Again, anything could happen, so don't call me tomorrow if something happens. Say, Coach, well, you said this, so I'm not saying that, because these are young men, they make mistakes. And like I tell our guys, the reality of it is men make mistakes. But all of a sudden, we want to put these guys 18 to 22 years old on a pedestal when you see grown men make the same mistakes. So I tell our guys, it's a mistake, we learn from it, we keep moving. Yes. Yes. Now, I sit in by accident. So if I happen to be in a locker room, but those are always sessions that I don't want to be a part of, because they have to be able to say things And sometimes as a young guy, it's hard to say stuff if Coach, even though Coach Marco, who directs it, he's a director of operations, one of our coaches, but there's a trust level. And so if I'm in there, then I'm just one of the guys. It's not necessarily this is Coach. So if I comment, I'm commenting as a guy that's in the room, not necessarily what Coach said this. Because you have to give those guys the right to say what they need to say, because that's what that is about.
We've heard from a few of them just say that certainly there are some big expectations on this program right now, but that's not what's fueling them. They have their own goals. And how are you seeing them handle sort of this spotlight that's on Cal?
I think they're doing a great job with it. And again, like I tell our guys, win or lose, there's a next day. And so the goal is to try to get better every day. My goal as a coach to develop young men, first and foremost. The next part is for our program to get better every day. And that's a hard thing to do, to try to maximize your talent on and off the court every day. And then try to reach academic success, because you win a big game, all of a sudden it's still class on Tuesday morning. You lose a tough one, it's still class Wednesday morning. You have to go to class and try your best. And just try to make them understand this is a sport. Even though it's a high level, it's BCS basketball, Pac-12 is a great league. But at the end of the day, max out your talent the best you can. Let the chips fall where they may. Don't get so consumed. Some guys, and I was this way in college, you lose a game and just my whole day was shot. And just, it took years to be able to bounce back from that and learn it's just a ball game. And that's easier said than done. It takes years to really try to master that. So I try to help our guys now to understand everything you got, lay it on the line. Then whatever happens, on to the next day. Man, I was probably, when I was able to embrace it, I was probably 23 years old. But, I mean, because you always talk to win at such an early age. My high school team won state championships, so it was just a way of life. Baseball, we won championships, and it just losing, because for me, it wasn't going back home to be a CEO of a company. So it had to happen for me in some form or fashion playing basketball.
A key focus for you guys has been getting Cameron Ruggs and Kingsley Coro more developed and accumulated. Can you talk about what development you've seen in them over the course of the last couple of months?
Well, I think they're making great progress. And again, if you go back to the NBA championship game, you watch the championship game with NBA, Golden State and Cleveland. I'm not sure if either team had a big guy to score over 10 points in average in the tournament. So my thing for those two guys to be big physical guys, do what you do. Cam's more of an offensive mindset than Kingsley. King's more of a defensive presence. So whatever they do it at a high level. And I'm not necessarily concerned whether or not they score the ball like that, because I don't know if they'll get that many touches to be a 15, 20-point score or not. But they got to be tremendous rebounders, shot blockers, protectors of the rim, setting screens, do all those things to help our team be successful. And then after that, I think we're fine, as long as they're playing at the level they're capable of playing at.
Do you expect to share that position with the two of them, and do you also expect there to be times or even certain games when you play small and don't use either of them much?
Well, I like to use them, but I think we go into a game, like outside of the last game in Australia, they played every minute. Maybe the third game, Ivan might have played 1 minute at the center position because they both got in foul trouble. And then the last game, then Cam didn't play as much, and King got fouled out. So, I mean, I like to go into every game with those guys in heavy rotation, but again, every game presents something differently.
Cuonzo, what's the pace as you go through practice in the preseason, putting in offensive and defensive stuff? Is that all planned out now?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, so we put offense in, just a couple different things, because what we have is a secondary offense. We try to put that in right away, so you're not calling plays all the time. There are times in games where you're calling plays, but you want your guys to be able to flow into your secondary. If you don't have anything in transition, to flow into your secondary offense. So it's just more reads than anything waiting on coach to call an exact play. To have the guys to be able to play within flow and not necessarily worrying about, okay, what should I do right now? So we spend a lot of time with that so they can read the defense and make plays. Yes.
And defensively, there's a lot of focus on
like today will be all defense. To pretty much the whole practice will be all defense. Now you have offense involved, but the focus of each particular drill will be an defensive drill.
Domingo committed pretty soon after you got here, right? How did that recruitment come about, and why did you want to bring him here?
Well, I mean, because I saw him in high school from afar, and I knew he was a good basketball player. He played USA basketball. He played at Georgetown. Didn't work out as well as he would like. And to his credit, it wasn't a case of transferring back home because it was close. It was transferring for an opportunity. And I think he had understanding with the Georgetown staff, because I spent a lot of time talking with Coach Thompson. and they really liked him as a basketball player and just felt like there were other guys, and he had a better opportunity in his mind to play here. So I respect that. But again, I think he has a chance to be a good player. He can make shots. He's playing really well. He's probably one of our better defenders, if not our best defender right now. With his energy, his passion, he's done a great job in developing his body, and I expect him to be in heavy rotation.
So you see about the maturity of the freshmen and what they've shown you in terms of handling themselves?
Well, at their respective levels, they played in a lot of big games. In the national tournaments, they played USA basketball, so they've been a lot of places and playing. But regardless to their talent or of their talent, this is a different level. The physicality, how tough guys are playing, how physical guys are playing, it's a different ball game. So, I mean, but very talented guys, understand how to play, a true passion. They want to be a part of something successful, so we're excited about it.
So probably time for about 2 more questions.
You said that, talk a lot about defense. Is that your primary color, your primary identity?
Well, my primary identity is to win and be successful. But I always talk about defend, rebound, and play hard because those things you can control. I mean, you don't know how many shots you get in any particular game, depending on how the team is playing. They might play a zone, so you might not get as many shots. They might guard guys different ways. But if you defend, rebound, and play hard, that part you can control every night. So that way they're not consumed with the fact that, okay, I didn't have a shot. When do I get a shot? Now the focus is just playing hard and competing. Now you do that for your team as opposed to for yourself.
On the identity of winning, obviously this is a pressure-packed season because of the recruits, excitement coming in. How do you kind of navigate through that?
My approach doesn't change. I mean, regardless of what the talent level is, I think that's more for the surface. My job is day to day, make sure our guys get better.